All right, guys, what's up? Welcome back to Two in the Zone. You have myself and the one and only Matt Dead Press Picks. How are you doing, my guy?
I'm good, bro. Sixers game day, so fired up for that one. 3 game slate tonight. Been seeing the playoffs great so far, so yeah, excited to chop it up with you tonight.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, there are three good games today. Well, I guess quickly recap last night's slate, and then we'll dive into tonight. But first, everybody, please give Seven Stack Sports a follow right there on the screen at Seven Stack Sports. By far the best book on Twitter. Same day payouts if you're using cryptocurrency. Amazing customer service. They even have props builders now, so you can make props and do parlays around that. And then the best thing, baseball season, you can do -1 lines or +1 lines, which is really, really valuable. So definitely check him out. Seven Stack Sports. Give him a follow. He just hit 10,000 followers, so let's get him to 15,000 next. All right, man. So last night there were a few games. I'll go through them real quick. Heat and the Hawks. Heat beat the Hawks 115-105 at home. Miami is up 2-0 in the series. Do you still give Atlanta a chance here at all?
I picked him as a long shot upset AC, although I have been saying the Heat are the best team in the East all season just to kind of ruffle the feathers there in the first round. No, I don't give him much of a shot at this point. I think they had to somehow steal a game in Miami. They were in that game all night last night. I mean, right down to the wire, right? But they couldn't get stops. It's kind of been their issue all year that they just couldn't string together stops. Trae Young has really struggled from beyond the arc in those first 2 games, and you're not going to beat a 1 seed if your star isn't playing like a star. He was really limited in that second half with only 9 points. So I think that they're pretty dead at this point.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to this next game here. Very, very lucky win for me. I was on the Grizzlies team total 123.5. They scored 124 points. They beat the Timberwolves by 30, really 28 points. Series now 1-1 going back to Minnesota. You and I talked about this on our previous show when the Grizzlies went down 1-0 or 0-1. We thought it was a great time to jump into the series price. It was only Grizzlies -120, -125, depending on what you looked at. And now they're big favorites again, tied 1-1. Do you think Timberwolves are going to make some noise back in Minnesota, or do you think Grizzlies would dominate the rest of the way?
Well, the line suggests so. For the next game, Grizzlies only -2, but I think they split in Minnesota. I think you go 7 at this point, to tell you the truth. I did hop in on that series bet because I think that's the best price. I think it'll go tied, and then I think a game 7 line, you'll see it at 5.5, 6.5 if it's in Memphis. They're the better team, right? They kind of flexed their muscle last night, showed us why. That is the largest win in franchise history. So it was a dominant effort start to finish. That was my big play. Grizzlies -6, 6.5, whatever you had. So I was happy with the result. But I think they'll split in Minnesota, and then the Grizzlies take care of business at home.
Yeah, big adjustment in game 2 was Taylor Jenkins playing Steven Adams only 3 minutes. Only 3 minutes. He was one of the best offensive rebounders all season long. Ended up just riding the bench for the majority of the game there. All right, final game here. Surprise of the night. Pelicans went on the road to beat the #1 overall seed in the playoffs, 125-114. Everybody knows Devin Booker was on fire in that first half, then blew out his hamstring. I don't know what the severity of the injury is. He sat out for the majority of the second half and they lost. But I would say this, man, even without Devin Booker out there, you would expect the Suns to win. Definitely not give up 125 points, right?
Well, that's for sure. I was one of those suckers who jumped on the Suns live personally. When that money line got to plus money, they started that fourth strong, and then they kind of just died out. But yeah, I mean, the absence of Devin Booker obviously will not go unnoticed. Unlikely for games 3 and 4, which are in the Big Easy. So I mean, if the Pels can somehow, even just take one of those, put the pressure on the Suns and make this series interesting, but. I mean, all of a sudden, the plot thickens in Phoenix. They come into this thing as the clear-cut favorite to win the NBA title. And now you're 1-1 going on the road against a team like New Orleans who's playing with supreme confidence without your stars. So I think they'll still be okay, but I think it'll make it for a more fun series.
Yeah, Devin Booker is more hurt than people realize. This is a wide open Western Conference now because it was the Suns' conference to lose, basically. But now you have the Warriors. Amazing. Maybe Luka is going to get back for Dallas. Memphis tied at 1-1. There's a lot of teams vying for that Western Conference final spot. All right, we do have a question in our chat here, Dad. It's our boy, obviously the best fan we have, Grant Albert. He goes, with the first two games of the series scoring a first half low of 114 so far, do you feel the Sixers and the Raptors first half over 110 is a good play tonight without Matisse Thybulle?
I think that is a good look, right? A little bit of an opposite trend there, which I like to hop on. The one thing I'll say with Thybulle is it's not only Thybulle, but also Scotty Barnes missing on the other end. So I think that does open up more offensive chances. The Raptors clearly cannot guard Joel Embiid. I mean,
no.
The reason
nobody can.
Right, but I mean, they're putting Chris Boucher or Precious Achiuwa. I mean, they have no shot with what they're doing. Yeah, I like it. I mean, the question is, can the Raptors keep pace and score? I will say, typically, this is the game tonight that scares me. Not scares me. They lose this or up 2-1. But this is the game like the Raptors need. Like, this is a game 7 for the Raptors, right? They lose this, the series is over. They're not coming back from 3-0. Should be a great atmosphere there tonight as we get into that one. So let's get into that one first, Stacey. That will be our first game.
I think we're going to disagree on this. I already know it.
Well, and I said this earlier, like, of course I'm going with Philly, but the line's at 2. So, I mean, typically the sharper rate on this play is Toronto because Philly only -2, right? That's not a normal line for being, absolutely destroyed in the first 2 games. But like I said, how does Toronto get enough stops is my question to win this game. Like, I just don't know if they can – because they're not overwhelming offensively. So they're not going to beat you in a track meet type of game. I just don't think that they're going to be able to stop. I mean, originally I said Philly in 5, and I genuinely now think that it's a sweep. I think this game will be way closer than the others. But you tell me why you like Toronto tonight.
Yeah, they're just a better home team. Whether that's they play better or they have kind of like a unfair advantage playing in Canada and having people travel in and do the extra mile when it comes to COVID testing and all that kind of stuff. So if you look at their home and away splits, I have it in front of me here. Toronto, for the most part, they score a lot better at home. They're 24-17 to the over at home. They were only 18-25 to the under away. At home, they have a much better record. And when you look at their point differential here between the two teams, Philly outscores their opponents by 3 points, Toronto by 2 points. I feel like these two teams are pretty even. Toronto did go through a lot of injuries early, and I just don't think the series is going to get to 3-0, in my opinion. So I do like Toronto tonight. It's most likely going to be a VIP play, but it's free for everybody listening right now. I think Toronto's going to get out early. Philly's going to come back in that fourth quarter, but I think they're going to expend too much energy coming back, and Toronto's going to win. I think it's a fishy line, right? At 2 points. But if Toronto wins money line, they're going to cover anyway, so I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, it is. And, I mean, I'm looking ahead at that Memphis line already. They're only -2. Like, these lines are a little off. Obviously, you have to respect these teams being at home. Right, Toronto has a pretty tough home environment to play in. You're going to hear, or you're going to see rather, Drake all game right in their faces. They have a good fan base. Like, it's not an easy place to play.
The Jurassic Park will be loud and lively tonight for sure.
Unfortunately, that's not going to help them stop Embiid. But I will say a Toronto prop I like, Gary Trent over 13.5. Yeah, at one point this season, AC, his props were getting up to like 22.
Yeah, 20. Dude, he had like 4 or 5 30-point games in a row.
Right. I mean, he had it going for a large part of the season. He's not hurt. Like, he had the sickness. I mean, he has been hurt, but I think he's healthy enough. Yeah. Reminds me a little bit of that Siakam one we called last time with 14.5. Now I think Anunoby. Now I think Anunoby's being overvalued a little bit at 17 with the hook.
Yeah.
I think because they like to spread it out. Siakam's their star, but I mean, Van Vliet's going to get his shots up. And Trent's a guy, when he gets hot, like, he could hit this in a quarter. Like, he's a volume shooter. Yeah. So Gary Trent Jr. over 13.5. All right, well, we're on other sides of that one. Let's see if we match up here. We're going to head to Boston. I was looking at the scheduling, and I was saying this morning. They screwed up with this one. They put the Nets and the Celtics, the Sixers-Raptors game tonight, I think, will be the next best game. They just did a poor job spacing these out. In my Now you got the Nets at 7 o'clock Eastern, so about 2 hours from now. 3.5 point spread. What do you like on this one? You take this first.
I'm gonna go contrarian again, man. Celtics were in the cover for 90% of the game in game one. Started off the fourth quarter on like a 0-20 run. I think the Nets literally had like a 21-2 run to get it back into the cover. Celtics obviously had the game winner at the end with Jason Tatum. I think the Celtics are a better team, man. The Nets don't play any defense. We've known that. It required like a huge shooting night from Kyrie, making a lot of tough shots to even get it close. I think it's a Celtics play. They're just the better team top to bottom. I think if Robert Williams was playing, I think this could be potentially a short series. But without him, I do think it might go 6 or 7. But tonight, I think the Celtics win. And even if they go up 2-0, I think this series is destined to go to 6 or 7 games.
Yeah, I mean, this reminds me of that like 7 game classic type of series. I'm going to go with the Nets tonight. I was on the Celtics last game, and like you said, they had that cover.
Yeah, bad beat.
Just that run right at the end. So I'm going to go with the Celtics, or I beg your pardon, with the Nets tonight with the 3.5. I do think they win this outright. Watch how Kyrie responds, right, to that criticism and flipping off the fans and everything. I think we'll be ready to go. All right, one more game, guys. Final game of the night. Again, shout out to 7 Stacks Sports. Give them a follow on Twitter. We got the Bulls and the Bucks. This one is another 10-point spread. So this was the one. This was my biggest play on Easter. It was at Sunday. So I was on the Bulls, but that game,
wow, that's a nice win, bro.
Yeah, but it never felt like they were. It was tied, and watching games with people who have no idea about gambling. With like 2-3 minutes, yeah, you're fine. They got 10. The NBA flips like that. They almost blew that cover there at the end. I think they blow them out tonight in this spot. I mean, the Bulls it never felt like they legitimately were going to win, even when they were winning in the third quarter. They can't compete in this series, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you. I would say in terms of handicapping, I'm laying off this game. It's just a weird number to me. It was a 10.5-point spread game one, and they didn't cover, so now it's a 10-point spread. Basically no change there, which means, the line read to me is a Bucks play. But the Bulls only shot 32% in that first game. I don't know if that continues. I know the Bucks have really good defense, but they play faster than people realize. So I do think the Bulls are going to be able to put up a little more points. I still like the under in this game because I think people are going to overreact with game one and try to chase the over tonight.
I like that.
But no play for me really. Who really dominated in that first game, especially the first half, was Brook Lopez on the board. So if you're looking at if you're looking at Lopez rebound props or things like that, I think that's a good look.
All right, let's get into the final segment, guys. Our best bets of the night. We're going to close this out by 5 Eastern time, so we got about 3 minutes to go. 2-3 minutes to go. These have been hot, obviously, all season long, AC. We'll kick it off with you here, but give us your best bet. Obviously, we didn't get to talk MLB. We're doing all playoffs here tonight. But if you got something on the diamond, let us know.
Let's just go ahead and give it to them, man. You and I were doing a collab with 7 Stacks tonight on the Miami Marlins. I think it's going to be a great play. Sandy Alcantara is on the mound. I love him in terms of value. People don't really look at him as an elite pitcher, but he's a nice strikeout king. So give me the Marlins tonight. I even forgot who the opponent is.
Cardinals,
yeah.
It doesn't matter, right?
It doesn't matter.
All right, guys. Yeah, well, that will be our collab, but I'm going to give you guys one more pick. I'm going to go with the Blue Jays tonight in Boston. I like Jose Barrios to bounce back against Nick Pivetta. So that will be my best bet, ACs, is the Marlins. But we will be posting right after the show a $100 giveaway. All you have to do is like the tweet and follow 7 Stacks. Obviously, give us a comment as well. We always appreciate them. We will be back with our final episode of the week tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
I keep forgetting the schedule. All right, we will see.
We might have a guest on tomorrow, too, so definitely check us out for that. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, 7 Stacks. Everyone have a good